instead of our differences, because that's all you ever hear about in this country is our differences. That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us, things that make us different from one another. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Fairly simple thing, happens to work. You know, anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything you can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank. You know how I describe the economic and social classes in this country? The upper class keeps all of the money, pays none of the taxes. The middle class pays all of the taxes, does all of the work. The poor are there just to scare the shit out of the middle class. Keep them showing up at those jobs. Politicians know that word, they use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind three things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind? Someone's losing fucking ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks. And it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big, wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
That's right. We're not in it. And I'm not trying to be in it. I'm trying to be out there getting my portion of the pie. That's right. And then many of us, I'm sure, agree, what my man Garland was saying. But, yeah, this joint is real. So anyway, I'm here. You know who it is. It's your boy, Crypto B-Boy, coming at you. And we're going to get in tonight. Well, excuse me, not tonight. It ain't night. It's still morning. I'm kind of a little bit tired. I've been up real early. And, just trying to do my video stuff for you guys and get y'all in there, get some people to really get involved into what's going on. So I'm going to be bringing you a little bit of news tonight. I said it again, tonight. I got night on my brain. All right, this morning. And if you're ready, let's get it. Are you ready? Let's get it. Alrighty then. So let's just jump right on in. And, while you waiting for that, don't forget to subscribe, with your bro, and stay with me. Keep on coming, and then until the end of the videos. Don't forget to click the like button, comment in the comment place, share the video out so we can get things out, man. There's a lot going on. So let's get in. First thing, I'm going to just jump into, what's going on the basis of with XRP, because that's my main thing that I'll be focusing on, of course, in a lot of my videos, and that's one of the main hypothetically invested coins by me and others. Hypothetically, I can say. But let's just jump into this one right here in the news, and some of this might be it could be like some recap news, but more or less, I wanted to touch some stuff that was really good and informative to the people, like in relation to the XRP, what's going on, or what happened. Actually, even one of the guys who are with the XRP was one of the directors in I think development for Ripple. He had a issue going in with this guy named Moss, and let me just see if I can find it again. When this happens, stuff gets lost in my email. Give me a second, people. Okay, it's somewhere in here. Let me see. Here we go. All right, so as we got it, there's the guy, right there. That's Moss. I don't think that's got to be Moss. If that's not Moss, that's Matt. But I don't think it's Matt. But it says it might be Matt. And excuse me if I'm incorrect. But it says former director of developer relations, Matt Hamilton with Ripple, of course, has challenged popular YouTube blogger Mark Moss on the subject of XRP and Bitcoin, issue. Moss initially questioned the bullish thesis of the XRP community, tied in his view to the theory that the cryptocurrency would be in demand as it helps banks transfer money faster instead of accepting freedom money. Bitcoin, they opt for XRP, the blogger face palms, right? So, and I guess he probably put his hand on his face, like, saying that XRP is part of, just helping the banks and so forth like that, but it's not for freedom. But anyway, that's what they all say. We know about that. And so it says, in Hamilton's opinion, however, Moss does not fully understand XRP. This is from Hamilton, Matt Hamilton, which is what he asked him directly. Okay, so as the former Ripple official himself explains it, XRP is needed to move value precisely without banks. Okay, and he's clarified that in the Twitter Spaces that we've had him, and we had T. We had even sometimes what is his name? Oh man, I can't remember his name. He actually still works for XRP. I mean, for Ripple right now. It's not Kirk. Because Kirk would be also K Moore, and man, I can't remember his name. But anyway, some of you might know who I'm talking about. Okay, so that is the whole point of the cryptocurrencies. Hamilton concludes his address. XRP, Ripple, and the banks at the same time. The notion that banks or other large financial institutions need XRP is also crazy, according to Moss. Why would institutions like the Fed or IMF use XRP when they could just create their own counterpart like FedNow? Excuse me. Ooh. The blogger says, or the blogger asks. And he says some followers express frustration with the opinion that accuse Moss of encouraging disunity in the crypto community, and yeah, this does it. That does it right there. At a time when the industry is under increased pressure from regulators. In contrast, the YouTuber said that uniting the crypto community should take place around technologies that encourage private ownership and the power of people, like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is your own bank, and XRP is for banks. Moss concludes. XRP, Ripple News, Mark Moss, right? So, basically, he was just trying to do what a lot of these skeptics do in relation to talking about XRP and trying to denounce it being a coin or being a asset that has a open source to freedom or decentralized. That's what they always try to do. And when they try to compare against Bitcoin with XRP, and they say it's a banking coin and it's more geared to the enemies, like this is what they do and create it as though it's part of it aligns itself. It's an ally of the enemy of decentralization, right? Because government is centralized and the system and all that and the powers that be, they're centralized, right? Yeah, we understand that, but XRP is an open source, so we should understand that. So anyway, let's go on to the next thing that we have here that I wanted to go into, which was very, very good. I was like, whoa, it seemed really good information. Let me see if I can get it. Here we go. All right, let's get it up. So this is Hindenburg Research Discovers FinTech by Alex Johnson. So this is FinTech Takes Deep Dive, okay? So it says, hi all. My sons and I recently did a boys' night, or, well, we're going to skip over that. Sorry, that was not what I wanted to get into. Here we go. Hindenburg Research Discovers FinTech. Would you rather travel fast or travel in comfort? If you was crossing an ocean in the 1930s, hold on, let me blow this up a little bit so I can read it better. In the 1930s, this was an important question. If you wanted to optimize for speed over comfort, the best choice was of one of those newer heavy airplanes on the airline in Imperial Airways, right? Or Lufthansa, which could get you from Western Europe to New York in roughly 20 to 30 hours, right? If you didn't mind taking your time and you could afford a ticket that was several times as expensive as an airplane ticket, an airship was the obvious choice. It would take 2 to 3 days to cross the Atlantic on one of these puppies, but when traveling in style, private cabins, observation decks, and gourmet meals prepare for a team of chefs. So they're going past that. We're going to go past that and get to. He's trying to bring a scenario. He's trying to bring some symbolic scenario type of thing. And so he's dealing with fintech companies. Where we at? Let's go here. Banks, generally speaking, are the luxury option. They are designed for people who already have lots of money and who prefer to pay for stately white glove service, right? So in essence, they're saying that like the main ships and these beautiful ships and restaurants and gourmet plane rides, in the airship, and you can get the best service, then the banks are the best service for those who really can afford to have a good amount of money in the bank, you know what I mean? And that they don't live check to check. So they're going to get into that. So it says fintech companies, by contrast, are all about speed and accessibility. They want to work with customers who can't afford to wait around for banks. Lower income customers, consumers, younger consumers, and the small businesses are all good examples. So you got this guy, Oyu Kolini Omojala, if I said that correct, forgive me if I, messed up his name, explains this perfectly in his essay. So he has an essay here, Time to Money as a Competitive Advantage. So you can check that out. Maybe it's a book or so forth. If you're rich, this doesn't matter. right? Of course. And you live paycheck to paycheck. Time to money matters a lot. Okay, so that's what it means basically. Living paycheck to paycheck means you likely have a liquidity problem that can quickly turn into a solvency problem. For example, one of the highest frequency and by far the largest use case by dollars of P2P apps is paying rent. Most hourly workers get paid weekly or bi-weekly on Fridays, and many settle rent on Fridays as well as soon as their paycheck comes in. And I know about that, true experience. I've been there, done that. Then rent on Fridays dynamic also surprised me because I've only ever seen rent paid on a monthly basis, so I'm clearly privileged here. Okay, this means that for those consumers before Cash App came along, they'd get paid on a Friday and either a have to wait till the weekend was over to pay their roommate or landlord, or B, pay a lot of fees to ensure their rent was paid on time. And so many startups offering financial products first found a wedge with people who are economically marginalized. And they're marginalized because who, by definition, will have more volatile finances than average, right? And that's true. Whether they're small businesses, micro merchants, or consumers, whether they are these people, they're often operating paycheck to paycheck, and missing a crucial payment one day can turn a short-term liquidity problem into a long-term solvency problem. So meaning that and I know because I've been there, done that. If you miss one paycheck, you can fall into not having any, money, any liquidity. It'll be a solvency problem. You'll be insolvent for your money and your that you need and your expenses. And this is a sad reality today, and many for many Americans, let alone throughout the world. So let's get to the other news. This was good, and I really like that, and it gives you an idea to know where you're at, and why it's so important that the community of the crypto community, pretty much, excuse me, all that are in the crypto community through investment are through investing into assets and these digital assets and their cryptos. Now, of course, we know there's a lot of them that are not and don't have any value as far as on a use case that they can solve any major problems that we need to solve in the world on a global scale, with finance, with liquidity issues and crises that is going on that we see right in front of our face on news, right? And me giving you the news, right? So basically, this stuff is very important. It's very important to understand for yourself. And then just in the news to let you know, Elon Musk led petition to halt halt AI development. Because it leads to disunity, is what he said. And then, just to like a recap, they had a big jump in the price on XRP. It was 1 to 53 cents, and it was a price hike that spike, that gave people open eyes and be like, whoa, what's going on? And they thinking that it's a bull run. Some people, but the people who know, who know charts and charting and do the studies and see the patterns and so forth, they know that it's just just a spark, just to show that with everything that's going on and liquidity is rushing into the crypto markets and so forth and bringing everything up, like Bitcoin, especially, as we know, and even Ethereum. Then, of course, a lot of the altcoins follow right behind those two, especially Bitcoin, but XRP has shown some signs of it, decoupling from the rest of, and it's been doing that over the years. So somewhat little bits of hints and signs that it does show this. Even if like most of the cryptos they might be up, but then sometimes XRP will be down out of most of the other cryptos. So this is showing excuse me, oh man, showing me a little bits of the signs that are there's a possibility that there will be some decoupling soon. Who's to say? You know, and I'm not a financial advisor. Do not take any advice from me. Do your own due diligence. Seek out knowledge on your own. Besides what I tell you about what I know, and only the knowledge that I gain from people who are professionals in this field. So anyway, this says the past 7 days made for quite an exciting week in the cryptocurrency field, despite the fact that some of the events were particularly positive. However, the market managed to stabilize and consolidate, gaining around 14 billion in the process. Let's dive on in. On March 27th, the United States Commodities and Futures Trading Commission (CFTC) slapped Binance, as we know, and we know what happened with that, with Changpeng Zhou, right? And this is what is going on. But despite that, the cryptos stood up. Fortunately, things appear to have calmed down. With that, and it allowed Bitcoin and trading in there and everything going on there, and all coins to go up following. And that included XRP. So, and XRP was looking good, 20% unfazed by Binance CFTC lawsuit. So, okay, so that's it right there, people. But I want to get into just trying to play a good video that I was listening to, and it was from my man Robert Kiyosaki. He went in and he had somebody on, a guest, and this guest was well known in Andy Schechtman, I think his name is Schechtman, and they're talking about the new global reserve currency and how things are shifting from the American dollar as being the main global reserve currency presently, and has been for several years, hundreds. I think if I could say, maybe 50 years, I could say that, if close to 100, right? But let's get into what they're saying, and listen a little bit and get some get some good understanding of what's going on in this time now, because man, it's something else what we're dealing with right now in these times. So we have to realize that there's a lot of shifting going on. Know that. So let's see what they're talking about.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki. This is emergency podcast number 2. I hope there's not a number 3, but I tell you, that saying, may you live in interesting times. I think this is interesting, spooky, and empire changing. I think we're watching the end of the American empire. And there's a law called Gresham's Law. And Gresham's Law says bad money drives out good money. So this is bad money here. It's called the US dollar. I call it toilet paper today. And this is good money here. This is silver, and this is gold. So what happened in 64 and 71, they took the gold out of this paper, toilet paper right here. And in 64, they took it out of our silver coins. So Gresham's Law is in action today. America has been kind of a bully.
My name is Jim Rickards. I'm a former advisor to the CIA, Department of Defense, and the White House. In a moment, you'll have my...
Okay, let's skip that. Alrighty.
Because we had the reserve currency of the world. So this is emergency podcast number 2. This number 1, please go to it, is burning up the airways right now. Our special friend, and always at the right time, is, Andy Schechtman, and he is adding so much dimension to my thoughts. And I think his wisdom and his experience and his foresight into what's happening in the world is crucial. So this is emergency podcast number 2. The thing we're going to be talking about today is what happens if and when Mexico joins the BRICS. What are the repercussions? What are the shockwaves? What's going to happen? Or as you say in Hispanic, ¿qué pasa? What's going to happen? So welcome once again, Andy. This is number 2 in a couple of days. Well, it's good to be here, Robert. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, the BRICS formation is something that I have been singularly focused on for the last few years, certainly. And I know you wanted me to just briefly describe what the BRICS are to your listeners, and for those that haven't been following this information, I think it's really very, very, very important. And I'd like to first throw out that so many things are happening all around us, and while they're significant, these individual events in and of themselves have less significance than when you put them all together. And the things that are happening inside, the blunders, if you will, that are happening inside the United States only exacerbate the consequences that are happening and the realities that are happening outside the border. In other words, the U.S. blunders, I believe, are inspiring the rest of the world, the international community, to unite in opposition to it and in joint establishment of mutually beneficial platforms of politics and economy and trade and currency and finance and culture and education and international security and all of these things that, as you mentioned, the bullying and the sanctions and the hegemony and the hypocrisy of the West, I believe, is coming to an end. And it is those types of actions by the West that I think has squandered the good graces that we have had for many years of the international community. And when we talk about the BRICS,
one second. Let me summarize what Andy said. America has pissed off the rest of the world.
yeah, yes,
We've been the bully. We've been the bully with this thing. We're now a credit-based economy. In other words, we print fake money and we spread it throughout the world. But the rest of the world is actually producing the food, the gold, the silver, the machinery, and all this. So finally, the rest of the world said enough's enough. So I remember years ago, because I operate in South Africa. I love South Africa. But they joined the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That was the original BRICS. And now they're gaining force and momentum. And I think people have heard the word BRICS, but very few people know ¿Qué pasa? What caused the BRICS to form, Andy?
Well, I think.
But what does it mean to us? Because otherwise, so what,
Right. Well, and I think by the end of this discussion, people will certainly understand it. But you're right. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa comprise the BRICS, and these are countries that are uniting in common interests and doing it without the bullying, if you will, of the Western hegemony, and they're beginning to set themselves apart from the rest of the world. And what really started me my awareness to this was the rise of the Chinese Belt Road and Rail Initiative, which is the largest infrastructure and human project.
Wait. Andy, go back to the BRICS. What does it mean? Because we go into the Belt and Road, we're going to lose a lot of people right now because that's a whole nother discussion. But what is a BRICS? What does it mean? Why do you think they're so important today? I mean, they're the most powerful force in the world today.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm getting at with talking about the Belt Road is this coalition of countries standing up against the Western hegemony. And that's really what it is. It's not just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You have well over a dozen countries that have already applied, such as Algeria and Argentina and Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Nicaragua, Turkey, Indonesia, Senegal, Nigeria, Afghanistan, Egypt, Kazakhstan, and the biggest one of all, Saudi Arabia, has formally applied to the BRICS nations. And so when you talk about this growing cohesion of countries, there are others that they're already set their eyes on. And in Brazil's backyard, you have Argentina. In Latin America, you have Nicaragua. In Central America, Algeria. You have Egypt. Excuse me. In near South Africa, you have Algeria, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, as we just talked about, the United Arab Emirates, Nigeria, Senegal, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, India, Indonesia, Thailand, all of these countries and their neighbors that are growing together are forming a massive, massive, very imposing, not only from a GDP, but you put all these countries together and their military might is very, very strong as well. And they're talking, those are the BRICS plus. Now they're talking about adding more countries, including Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, Bolivia, Chile, Cuba, Ecuador, Peru, Uruguay, Venezuela, Azerbaijan, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam. The list goes on and on and on. And
Okay.
what is
So what that means is right now they're dealing in this.
correct?
In 1944, this became the reserve currency of the world right after World War II, the Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Like I said, this is toilet paper today because this is now fake money. So the rest of the world is saying, enough of you sending us your toilet paper.
That's exactly right.
You take our materials, you take our production, you take this, and you send us this trash here. So that's
Right.
what Andy is talking about is so crucial. An average person can't see it.
Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm gonna let it be because the time has gone by so quick. You know what I mean? So hey, you know what I'm talking about. This thing is no joke, and with the BRICS and everything, we've been I've been doing videos about it and others, and there's more to come. There's just really more to come, but it always goes to show you that where we at and our positioning and how we position ourselves, how that is important where we've positioned ourselves because it's going to give us a more opportunity and access to the liquidity that's going to be crossing over through all these different channels and these different countries. Like I was watching another video and I don't want to really kind of like bring that up here because I knew I wasn't going to have enough time, but the guy was talking about what did he think about when it came to what's actually taking place with these, and I think it was shout outs to Val, to XRP Val. He posted it, and in relation to talking about that, it was on the news, and what do they think that what's going on, and all the fear, the fear that's going on, and people were calling it fear mongering, or whatever. That's up to you if that's what you feel, and you don't want to open up your mind, and you don't want to really think for yourself and do your own due diligence and find out for yourself that there's a lot of stuff that's been going on for a long time in this country, and a lot of nefarious and deceptive acts of the people that are in higher places, okay? And not just the country itself as the government, but those beyond them with the money and the power that they have to influence certain people in the government that performed a lot of this nefarious stuff from a long time, even before my time, my great-grandparents' time, even all the way now. So basically, we are in this and seeing all this stuff coming up and regurgitating all of the mess now more than ever. So what do we need to do is just be aware and become more aware and keep seeking knowledge about it, and not being closed-minded and saying, "Oh, it's a fear. You're a fearmonger, and you're just bringing all this conspiracy scenarios." No, the facts is clear. So we know this is happening. The guys are talking about it. Robert Kiyosaki, this guy, and this other person in that news spoke about that. They feel that okay, well, the dollar is going to always have some sort of existence, but it's not going to be in the same form. And then other countries that are breaking away from usage of the dollar, they have to find another type of dollar that they don't have to depend on, and it's going to be their currency. And so there's going to be a fractionalized type of currency systems going on through the world globally. So meaning certain countries are going to be having their own separate currency that they will be using as their reserve currency. You understand? Just like, you know, or like El Salvador made Bitcoin, you know, legal tender for their country. So that's their currency. So you know what I mean? For right now, I mean, we don't know how long that's gonna last. But anyway, you know, now you could see the position of bridging currencies playing a great role in this, to being able to be what's facilitating is going to facilitate the functionality of interoperability of these currencies being able to be transferable and exchanging the currencies for other currencies to be able to use and get value out of that money, so you have liquidity in your country and you can buy somebody's oil from their country in their money with ease, because the transferring and exchanging of it is interoperability through the digital functionality of blockchain technology, and then the fintech companies providing this with their tokens, with their, you know, tokens that hold that value, that tokenize those maneuvers. You know what I mean? And that's it basically. But I'm not going to stay with you guys any longer, because I don't want to take too much more time. It's over 36 minutes. You know, I know how some people with the attention span. But don't forget to subscribe to your bro. Okay, people, you know, stay with me. Those of you who are not subscribed that watch this video, come and get on in, because we're going to keep on going, inshallah. God's willing. That's what I mean in Arabic. You know, I'm a Muslim, but so anyway, don't be afraid. You know, hey, we all people on this earth together, and we all striving to do what's better for us. And you know, it's not about your differences of who you are, your belief, this and that. At this point in time, it's about humanity being able to have their needs at their you know, position of accessibility, where they can not fear that they're going to depend on other human beings for the rest of their life. And this is where the battle lies. This is where it's at. So be a part of it. You know, learn. That's the main first step. Learn and then be with people who know a little more about what's going on, and you can learn from them and open up your mind, and then strive to make changes before it's too late. That's all I can say. But I thank you for listening. Until the next time, this is your boy, but not your little boy. It's Crypto B-Boy coming at you. And I'll see you in the next time, in the next video. Soon come. All right. Take care. Peace. I'm out.